He looks incredibly hot in these photos that people posted. So there is that, of course.
Really? Chris Evans took a good picture. You don't say.
Have you heard that we're going to do a live stream?
That's right.
Are you aware of this? Speaking of Wakanda Forever, tomorrow, Saturday, whatever day it is you're watching this, November 12th, we're going to do our first live stream ever. So put a link down below so you can click on it to get notified. 4 p.m. Pacific time on Friday. We'll be
Saturday.
Like this. What did I say?
Friday.
Oh, anyway. A day of the week that ends in Y. Tomorrow, Saturday, we're gonna look like this, just like this, but you can actually talk to us. Thanks to the beauty of Riverside. Riverside allows us to go live onto YouTube, and we're looking forward to seeing you guys there and talking to you. Riverside's good for all kinds of meetings and podcasts and videos and anything you need to talk to people about. You can talk to them. Why be in the same room with somebody when you can do it through Riverside?
That's what I've always said.
I agree. So we'll have a link to them with Breakfast 15. You get 15% off of your membership. So check them out. Yes, a lot of news, including some breaking news this morning. And that is one of the many things, the death of Kevin Conroy.
Yes.
So you are much more knowledgeable about him. He died at 66 of cancer. I know he was considered like the best Batman. We did a thing earlier this year when the R-Pat's Batman came out and asked who's the best Batman. And lots of folks chimed in with Kevin Conroy. So why was he so important, Alonso?
Well, just as somebody who logged a lot of hours in the role, he was the voice of Batman in Batman the Animated Series, is in the Batman Mask of the Phantasm movie. So he spent a lot more time in those boots than most of the actors who ever played him in movies or television. So there's that. Also, he's the only openly gay actor to date to play Batman in the major media. So that's pretty awesome. But yeah, he brought a lot of, to use one of your favorite words, gravitas, to the role. And I think really, crafted his own. I think everybody, as we talked about when the Batman came out, everybody sort of has their own take, their own spin. And he really, I think for a lot of people who grew up with the animated versions, like that's, hashtag my Batman.
Yes, a deep, rich, gravelly voice brought heft to Batman. And then also Gallagher died, not quite so beloved as Kevin Conroy. Gallagher died at age 76. He'd been ill for a while. He was in hospice. Yes, known for smashing watermelons on stage, wacky Gallagher and his hat and his mustache and a big, like a groundbreaking singular dude in the 70s. I didn't realize, though, he was not a good guy.
Yeah, apparently not. But recently portrayed in Weird, the Al Yankovic story by Paul F. Tompkins, if I recall.
That's a good memory. Yes, that's a good point. And then, I guess he walked out of an interview with Mark Maron on his podcast. When Mark Maron asked him about the racist jokes that he had told over the years, I guess he walked out and did not want to talk about that. So he died as well. We have a lot of trailers out in the past week, but most importantly, the one for John Wick 4.
Man has to look his best when it's time to get married. Or buried.
I'm going to need a gun.
Which looks pretty fun. That'll be out in March of next year.
Oh, fun.
And so good to see Keanu back in that role again. It just looks dazzling and the choreography looks fun as always. We also have a Knives Out trailer. So we're going to see Glass Onion next week and then we'll have a review for you when it comes out on Thanksgiving week. And then also the trailer for The Whale came out. I know there was great controversy about The Whale and not everyone is as moved by it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet and I haven't seen the trailer, so I can't speak to it directly, but it has sort of prompted a conversation about, are we still doing fat suits and are we still, casting straight actors in gay roles? And yes, Brendan Fraser is getting acclaim, but, could they have gone another way with this? I haven't seen the movie yet. I'm not weighing in just yet.
I have not seen it either. So we will review it, though. It comes out eventually. It comes out this year, right?
It's for sure opening before the end of the year.
It's part of the onslaught in which we currently exist.
Yes.
We've got to catch up with that.
They are already hot to be pushing Brendan Fraser for an Oscar this year. So we're seeing it soon.
We are. Jimmy Kimmel's going to host the Oscars. Speaking of the Oscars, this is a very safe choice, it feels like. What do you think?
I thought Guy Lodge, who's a British film critic that I've met a few times and follow on Twitter, had an interesting observation, which is the Oscars always likes to pretend that it's this international show, and yet they hire hosts that are not known outside of the United States.
Yeah. That's a good point. It's also like, after last year where you had, Wanda Sykes and Regina Hall and Amy Schumer, like that was fun. That was different. And to go back to like very safe and universally loved middle-aged white dude is kind of disappointing.
Yeah. It shows, I think, a bit of a failure of nerve. And like, look, a lot went wrong with last year's Oscars, but the hosts were not the problem.
No, they like kept going and like, the show must go on. So for sure. Speaking of safe choices, Chris Evans is People's Sexiest Man Alive. I mean,
wow.
How do you dispute that? How do you argue with that?
Wow. Yeah, no, I mean, pretty much like, sure, I guess, does he need that on his like resume? Like, I think he was already unofficially for a lot of people the sexiest man alive. Does it have to be underscored that way? Do they have to take that safe a choice? I guess they did.
When they do something unexpected though, like John Legend, like the whole world implodes.
True.
Oh my God.
Yes, always that.
So I mean, he looks incredibly hot in these photos that people posted. So there is that, of course.
Really? Chris Evans took a good picture. You don't say.
Speaking of the Oscars, though, Apollo 10.5 is now eligible for the animated category. There was great consternation, and justifiably so, about the fact that at first the animation category was like, no, you're rotoscoping, you don't really count. But there was such an outcry that they changed their minds. Good.
I'm glad because, I think, ideally less and less as the Academy the membership, that pool evolves and, it becomes more diverse and they bring in younger people. But we've seen a lot of times in the past where, there's this entrenched sort of old guard who's like, no. The people who didn't want to sit through all of Hoop Dreams, when it was up for best documentary, that kind of thing. So I'm glad that they're not just shunning the idea of rotoscoping because, there is straight up rotoscoping, but then, I think Linklater and his animators are really doing things with it and giving it tone and texture and, using color in a way where it's not just like, oh, any idiot could do this.
It's a very complicated, painstaking, lengthy process for sure. We're just going to stay in the Oscars here.
Okay.
Sean Penn has loaned one of his Oscars to Ukraine as a good luck charm. Like he brought it to Zelensky.
Okay. Did it bring good luck to Sean Penn?
He's doing good work. Except for that movie. What's the movie that he directed that with Charlize Theron that we hated? Oh my God. That wasn't a good choice. That wasn't a good choice on his part. But I think he means well and he walks the talk and the things that he cares about. So they're friends, Sean Penn and Vladimir Zelensky. So
all right.
Paul Haggis was found liable in his civil rape trial in New York.
Yeah, and this is also like weird. I mean, on the one hand, like, if this indeed is what happened, then I hope that the young women involved, find some kind of closure in all this and feel like they've had their day in court and found justice. But at the same time, you've got Leah Remini testifying on Haggis's behalf that like they have been targeted by the Church of Scientology and that, we have heard over the years that the church is known for sort of like, blackmailing people to keep them from leaving. And then once they do leave, going out of their way to try and like destroy their credibility. So I don't know what to make of all this, but
he's been a very vocal critic of the Church of Scientology.
Yes.
So we know that for sure. That's a fact.
Right.
So, but I wanted to bring that up. Duran Duran, a band I love, was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame along with many other acts this past week. But Annie Taylor was not there. Guitarist Annie Taylor was not there. And he put out this very heartfelt message explaining that he currently is fighting stage 4 pancreatic cancer. At that point, is it even fighting? He's just enduring, withstanding. And so
I mean, there are people with stage 4 who, I mean, not that they necessarily lick it, but they at least like buy themselves more time or they get past the certain phase that they're in. And then other times, no, I mean, there comes that point where it's like, well, we're just talking about hospice now. And I don't know where he is in that. And if he is indeed still battling it, then, I'm wishing him the best in that. It's a tough road.
Yikes. Pancreatic cancer, a very, very tough one. So yeah, so I love Duran Duran, and people were asking, why is Andy not there? And then he put out a statement explaining why. And so they, they were all together for a very, very long time. And so that's very sad. And then Aaron Carter, we got to talk about this. This is really sad and really weird, and we still don't know what happened here. Aaron Carter was found dead at his home in Lancaster at age 34. He had been very public about his many struggles with substance abuse and in and out of rehab, and, has an ex-girlfriend and a child, and was trying, I guess, to turn his life around and make sense of it all. But we don't know how he died. He was found dead in his bathtub in Lancaster.
Yeah, no, it's tragic. And, I think, we always talk about how, like, there are kids who are famous who get through it and, become successful adults, whether in or out of the industry. But for a lot of people, it's a difficult thing to endure and come back from. Right.
He was pop singer, extremely famous at like age 9.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. So a very short and sad life for Aaron Carter.